Who was Kai before all of this?
Kai was someone who lived life to the full, took part in every sport going, played a lot of cricket, went to every football game across the country, really just was incredibly active and just sort of lived life to the max. I mean, I still attempt to do that now with everything that's gone on with PSC, but I feel very different to how I was sort of 5, 6 years ago before PSC really attacked my liver and lifestyle.
What kind of other sports did you do other than cricket?
I played football when I was younger and five-a-side. I wasn't very good. I mean, I was a better cricket player than I was football player. Um, I'd give anything a try. If someone said, "Oh, we're going go-karting this week," right? Cool, we're going go-karting this week, or we're going for a swim. Yeah, we're going swimming. Fine, we're doing that. I'd say yes to sort of nigh on everything, just to sort of live and just experience whatever I wanted to do.
Can you tell us a bit about what happened and how you ended up possibly needing a transplant?
So So my story begins when I was at college. I was in the middle of taking my A levels in my final year, and all of a sudden my eyes just went yellow, really yellow. I struggled to open them. They diagnosed it with uveitis. I went through loads of different treatments at eye clinics, and then they took some in-depth blood tests and found, okay, there's raised liver levels, and then linked it to PSC. So I was diagnosed with PSC in when I was 19. Yeah, so that would be 2018, 2019, around then. Um, I'd sort of lived life normally with it. I was told that, yeah, you may not need a transplant, you may need one in your mid 30s, 40s. So I sort of just took it as, okay, that's years down the line. I'll be fine. We'll deal with it when it becomes a problem. Um, Sort of 3, 4 years down the line, 22, I take a new job, dream job. 2 weeks in, I'm yellow, fatigued. I'm struggling to stay awake during the day. Not, I can't run anywhere. I'm struggling to play cricket, and I end up in hospital with a severe cholangitis attack. And I go through so many tests, not really understanding what PSC is, knowing it's there and I've got it, but I then go through the process where they go, oh, we could do a biopsy, we could do stents, and then at each of the different steps to sort of relieve the pressure in my liver was sort of a no go. It then became I was given a transplant. I remember being 22, sitting in hospital on my own. It's the first time I've ever been in hospital on my own, just scared. And a doctor comes in just middle of the morning and goes, "We're going to start listing process. We're going to get this going." And I'm like, "Okay." I think that's probably the first time I've really cried in that experience. Um, yeah. So you see that happened for me. I then got take. I then came out of hospital, started the listing process as an outpatient, and I was listed. I think about a week after my 23rd birthday. So great birthday present. We listed for transplant. So sort of my whole life in the space of a month, 2 months had gone from getting a dream job, really sort of wanting to take the next step in life, dream job, save more money, move out, just start to live to, okay, you've got severe liver disease and you need a transplant. And that it might sort of my life and the way I had to approach things changed drastically.
When you go through this kind of stuff, it's actually very traumatic.
Yeah. One of the things that I did with dealing with it is I mean I banned people from asking how are you just because it would really wind me up. It's people just trying to just be there and show support, but to me, I had no interest in answering that question. there's a cricket club I go to. At the time, were really, really supportive during the time I was first listed, and they were very understanding of the fact that we don't ask how Kai is. We just treat him as normal. If he wants to come and watch sports that day, he just comes and watch sport. But we don't go, oh, how are you? Is there an update on the liver? Well, no, there'll be an update on the liver when I've got a scar on my chest and it's done. It's that sort of thing. But yeah, that
I think,
it's
sorry, I think that's probably. I just want to touch on that. I think that's one of the hardest things to have to answer daily. What you just touched on is when people say, "Is there any updates?" There's never
yeah.
any updates until you have the transplant.
The update will be I'll lift my shirt and there's a scar that's healed there, and you see me running around for once rather than walking at a leisured, slow pace.
Because you're effectively in limbo the whole time that
Yeah,
you're waiting.
yeah. It's sort of I'm sitting I'm sitting there and waiting. Any phone call could change my life in a way. It's any time a private number phones. I don't know if you experienced this when you were listed. Any time a private number phones and it's not the transplant team, I'd be incredibly annoyed. That's day ruined. It's EE trying to sell me something. I'm sorry, EE. I'd rather you be the Royal Free or the transplant centre. Yeah.
So from this happening, how long have you been waiting in total? Um, how have you got to this point from initially being diagnosed to where you are now?
So my story is probably a lot different to other people. The first time I was listed, I didn't end up being transplanted. So I was on the list for around 10, 11 months. And towards, yeah, towards the end of 2023, I was really sick. I hadn't slept. I was borderline insomniac. And I went to hospital just to sort of go, what's going on? And they took a look so they did some tests and found I had the start of heart failure. So spent 5, 6 weeks in hospital dealing with that. Um, I was then since delisted because you can't do a transplant on someone whose heart is just simply not strong enough at the time to sort of survive the surgery. But in that with that experience, I don't know. The doctors don't understand why or what combination of drugs and medicine they put me on. My liver function actually improved whilst having heart failure. I don't. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's two organs that are essentially failing, but through one failing, the liver has somehow improved briefly. So I was delisted after coming out of hospital, recovering from heart failure, and then spoke to my liver consultants, and they estimated around sort of 2 years I could live normally before being at a point where we're at listing again. So initially 1 year on the list, roughly 2 years off, and I'm now back at a point where it's my liver started to really sort of, so it's not rapidly deteriorating. It's deteriorating to a point where the risk benefit now potentially is so that a transplant is the best option. So we're currently going through the listing process again.
And what's been the hardest part of this journey for you?
I it's been tough all round, but I think one of the more recent things that I found difficult to grapple with is having coming out of hospital after heart failure with my liver working, but knowing in 2 years' time we're going to be back at square one again. It's been tough sort of having the sort of reprieve of, okay, I can live my life normally for a year, year and a half, which I've done and loved, but having it in the back of my mind that, yeah, you are going to still need a transplant. It's going to come back round, and we're now here. It does. I do struggle with knowing that fact, and I struggle I really struggle with future planning. Initially, when I first listed, planning for the future, I really struggled with that because it's sort of how am I going to plan for a future when there's so much uncertainty now? Sort of moving out, really trying to progress my career, and it's one of those things I've really had to work through and sort of take step by step and go, okay, Kai, you can still work. Go back and work as much as you can. So instead of working, say, 35 hours, 40 weeks, as the same as everyone else, I've managed to adapt my working hours. I've then gone and still tried to take part in as many hobbies and as things as I want, make plans for the future and say, okay, post transplant, I want to move into a flat on my own. I want to go and do this and see things that everyone else will do. So it's really trying to visualize my life post transplant, which at the start I struggled with that, and then again post coming out of hospital for heart failure, really just sort of having everything at once. Go, okay, you can go on holiday again, you can do this, you can travel to the other side of the country, but then knowing it's going to come back round. So that's been tough to manage.
I kind of liken it to putting your hand in the fire and feeling it burn, and then being told you've got to put your hand back in the fire.
Yep, exactly that. I know, I know that, yep, I'm going to get listed again. It's going to happen. But I've had a taste of what life could be like after because I've been able to go back to a point where I was pre-transplant and fairly okay. So I managed to go to see parts of Europe, travel with my family, friends, been to Silverstone, seen everything that you do as a normal, healthy, active person, but with it in the back of my mind going, you're going to go back and you will get sick again. Scary. It's a scary concept.
On that note of experiencing normal life, what do you dream of doing once you get your transplant?
I want there's two things. So I want to go back and play cricket again. I'm gonna share this because this is quite funny. I played some of my best cricket in the sort of 4 or 5 months, 4 or 5 weeks before I was in hospital. I don't know how it happened. I think I've never been great, but I was averaging sort of 30, 35 at the time in the weeks leading up to me going into hospital. Lord knows how I do it because I look back and I was shattered, I was tired, my legs were heavy. Somehow I was playing my best cricket then, and it sort of sucks that it had to stop very quickly. But post transplant, I want to get back into playing cricket and running and just being active. And the second one of my hobbies and passions is collecting sports cards. So I love going to shows, connecting with other collectors, and I want to go to sort of European shows. I want to go to Milan, Madrid, different parts of Europe, and just share my hobby with other people that have that hobby as well. That's something I really want to get done.
Is there anything that you would say to people that are thinking about becoming an organ donor?
If this that's a real tough question for people as well because it's I know people that have gone. My partner's passed away. I don't want. I just want them to still be there. But I think if people are considering it, go for it. It's one great lasting legacy that you know that okay, it's tragic and sad that you passed away and it's awful. But there's one legacy that you've gone on and you've saved 5, 10, 15 people, and there's that you okay a tragedy's happened there, but you've been able to save and better the lives of so many other people. I think if it was someone in my family or myself, I'd 100% want them to be able to save someone else and better the lives of others. I would. If it was a conversation for myself, I'd 100% go, yep, take what you need, please better the lives of others.
And this last question, it doesn't have to be anything organ donation related, but if you had one message to give to the world, what would it be?
Life's a marathon, not a sprint. You'll get to your destination and you'll do the things you want to do when you get there. There's no need to rush there.
Perfect. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to stop there.